Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Veos, and in video 10 we're going to be talking a little bit more about the X2, and we're going to try to go ahead and put it into space this time. As you can see here, I've sped things up so you don't have to wait through hours and hours of video. I'm working on the engine, it looks like. It's very tedious, very tedious. You have to get each of these ram air intakes and put a toggle command on them. That way you can close them when you get into higher atmosphere and reduces drag. Now if you remember from the older, from my previous videos about the X2, I was having problems with those fuel lines that kept on breaking because the jet engines were so close together. And so in this video I went back and revamped the entire jet engine setting and put the fuel line directly into the wing, and then the wings to the fuel lines directly to the jet engines, which is probably what I should have done to begin with, but hey, you know, oops, you live, you learn. And let's see, I'm trying to narrate this as fast as I'm watching it. Put struts everywhere. Looks like I'm checking everything out, making sure everything is good to go, and checking on part count, trying to keep it under 1300. It seems like if you want to put 100 tons into space, your craft is going to reach past 1200, or at least past 1000. Now as you can see here, I'm not cloning the engines on the bottom and then putting them on the very top. The reason is that unfortunately when you clone a part, you don't clone that action group that that part is connected to. So you've got to do this all over again and put each part into their appropriate action groups. Which in this case I'm putting the ram air intakes and the jet engines all into one action group. That way you can toggle and turn them off and close the intakes when you're at high altitude, of course, to keep the drag down. Very tedious indeed. You need a lot of patience for this. A lot of patience. Looks like I screwed up there. So I just went ahead and reload from my last save point, and of course at the same time I neglected to turn symmetry on, and I realized this only after I've built several more rows of these air intakes. I was extremely frustrated at the time and pissed off. But it's just a I realized it right there. I was like, son of a biscuit, and I deleted all of them. But it's just a obstacle. Got to get around it. Keep on going. And then looks like I took a break right here. Had to get a drink, a little something to eat. I'm only human, damn it. That's right. Okay, put the fuels to the engines. Good. And right here I'm cloning the parts that I want to stick onto the very top from what I've already designed on the bottom, and I'm flipping the whole craft around and then putting the parts back on there. And it's just a whole lot easier than to keep the spacecraft in one position and then trying to get the parts, clone them, and flip them upside down and stick them upside down. It's just a whole lot easier to take the parts, leave them as they are, and flip the whole damn spacecraft around. That way you're not trying to angle the camera all back and forth and upside down. Making sure the struts are all in place. And looks like I'm tying the jet engines into the same action group as the ram air intakes. Nearly finished. Right here I'm contemplating whether or not to put a cargo bay door on it. Same type of cargo bay technique that I demonstrated in video 9. But I figured we're just trying to get this thing into space to see if it even gets into space. We'll worry about putting cargo bay door on there later. And right here I've actually built a small part in the very neck of the spacecraft, so that all you have to do is grab that part when you're in the spaceplane assembly building. All you gotta do is grab that one part, lift the whole thing up like a car hood, and you can do whatever you want in the cargo bay. You can make it empty, you can put more stuff in there, whatever, and it just clips right back on. As you can see, I don't have clip editor on, or no clipping, whatever it's called. So no, I'm not cheating. You can do this without it. Alright, RC thrusters. Making sure I got pitch, roll covered, yaw, and you got forward thrust, reverse thrust, up and down thrust, side to side thrust, all that jazz. That's the side thrust. I'm putting more RCS thrusters on the back than the front because of the fact that the back actually weighs more than the front. So if you want to move side to side, you want to make sure the craft moves equally and doesn't start turning because of the fact that one side weighs more than the other and you got the same amount of thrust on either end. Nope, found a loose strut. Okay, put that sucker back on the wall where it belongs. And put on the wings. A little bit more stability there. Alright, let's see what we can do. Now as you can see, it's pulling over to the right real hard. And it's kind of hard to correct it. Later on I figure out the reason why is because the center of lift is actually in front of the center of mass. So I go back and I try to take the wings off of the sides, as you can see. And the center of mass is still slightly behind the center of lift. But I'm just testing it out to see if it's still going to do that on me, still going to turn left or right on me. And of course, as I start getting up to speed and start getting a little higher, yeah. Right here I'm thinking, oh, this might actually work, and then physics takes over. No matter how hard I try, I got the RCS on, nothing's happening. Damn it. So pretty much, I'm about to abort the mission. Nope, it's not working. Turn the engines off. Try to save my little Kerbal guys. Apparently I need to put rockets on that thing. The X2 is holding it in place. So, out of desperation, I turn on Whack a Kerbal and I try to free the Kerbals. I'm like, come on, let go of my people, you bitch. It actually takes quite a beating before it finally starts to fall apart. Oh, nice. Oh. Well, at least the Kerbals are alive. Alright, back to the drawing board. So in an attempt to put the center of lift behind the center of mass, I slap on a whole lot of winglets in the back. Of course, I find out real quick that this is not a very good idea. unfortunately, the winglets create lift directly on the wings themselves, which the wings can't take a whole lot of weight. So, yep, there they go. Start bending, kind of flapping like a bird, and it's not good. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like the center of mass is far enough in front of the center of lift, so I still get the same problem. Here I try to fight it, try to see if I can get it how far I can get it, and I get to the point where I say, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna lose it anyway, might as well do a little sabotage here and lose it in style. Oh yeah. Let the chaos commence. Oh shit. Eject. Oh. A lot of pieces. You want to see what almost 12,000 pieces looks like in the sky? Well, I'll show you. Yeah, there you go. Well, right here I get a little scared since pieces start raining down. I think it might hit the capsule. That was a close one. Back to the drawing board again. So this time I take all those little winglets off. And I figure, okay, well, if it wants weight in the front, then that's what I'm going to give it. I take the hood off. Oh, maybe not in this one. Start adding more fuel tanks. Start putting RCS tanks up there. Take the hood off, there we go. And I go ahead and I remove those giant RCS tanks so that I could push the weight further up. And I just start slapping a whole lot of the smaller tanks, RCS tanks, all over the front. Now this, of course, works. It moves the center of mass higher, but unfortunately, it also means it takes longer for it to get off the runway. Alright, here we go again. Now at about 3,500 meters, I start losing control. My theory is that the fuel being drained is moving the center of mass closer to the center of lift, creating instability. Yep, there she goes. It starts becoming harder and harder to control. For some reason, it has a really bad tendency to want to pull to the right. I'm thinking maybe there's a part in there that's adding to this problem. I'm not sure. And jettison. I really need to put rockets on those things. There she goes. God damn it. Another one lost to the sea. I really hope I don't have to make an X3. If this thing doesn't pan out, I might have to go back and redo the entire design. Alright, back to the drawing board. Here I'm putting jet engines underneath the nose of the craft. hopefully to give it more lift, because I didn't tape record it, but unfortunately, to try to fix the problem with the fuel being drained and the center of mass moving back towards the back of the craft, I went ahead and put more RCS tanks and some more fuel tanks in the front to give it more mass in the front. So yeah, I figured I probably needed some assistance, some lifting assistance. Now I'm not using allow part clippings. It's pretty easy to do something that wild with the struts as well as engines. All you gotta do is build the part first without symmetry, and then when you're done building the part, then put symmetry on. A lot of times you'll find that it accepts the part. Alright, put the top back on. Let's do this again. You can see the engines in the front doing their job, pushing up. I turn them off. Alright, here we go. Now in this run, I actually think we're gonna do it. She's flying straight, she's flying smoothly, everything's going alright, board is green, everything's 555. 2,500 meters. There we go, 3,000. 3,500, she's doing it again. It's like she wants to veer right, veer left. She's got all kinds of weight in the nose. Maybe that's it. Maybe there's just too much weight. But then again, if that was the case, how would she fly? So I put rockets on the Kerbal pod, finally. And I also put a probe body inside the spacecraft, so I can go ahead and try to save it. As long as the Kerbals are away, everything's okay. And of course, in my attempts to save it, she finally just gives up the ghost, falls apart. Damn it. It looks like I'm gonna have to redesign the whole damn thing. I don't know what it is, but it's whatever it is, it's well, shit. I guess the X2 is not going to be the one. Alright, well that sucks. I don't know, I guess during me fiddling around with it some more and redoing the engines, I might have somehow thrown it off. It used to be able to reach higher than that. I guess I don't know what I did. Alright, well, I went ahead and I started to build a X3, and I'm thinking that the reason why it's having such problems when it gets up to speed and altitude is because of the fact that the wings themselves are slanted. The engines themselves are slanted. It's not really symmetrical. You know, either side is symmetrical, sure, but the top and the bottom are, you know, slightly off. Here's the X3. As you can see, I'm gonna change up the wings a little bit. I'm gonna put little stabilizer fins on them, some pointing inwards, some pointing down. And on the inside, I have 8 SAS modules. I know that's overkill. Version 21 allows you to actually stack them. I'm not talking about just stacking the units, I'm talking about their abilities. So the more SAS units you have, the more control you have of the plane. Or at least that's the theory. And as you can tell, the wings are straight across, they're not slanted in any way. And also, this new addition, I've extended the cargo bay, so it's slightly longer than the X2. And I've added this lovely cargo bay door. It's a prototype. If you've already seen my other videos before this, it's the same type of technique that I used in trying to figure out how to make a door work. So I just took that technique and put it into this one. And I will demonstrate that for you before I end this video. So let's go ahead and put this on top. For the engines themselves, I'm thinking of I might put them in the back, but I'm going to put them closer towards the body instead of having them out along the wings. I'm actually maybe even put them further up towards the center of the body. Now, I've been looking at some of these older planes like in World War II and whatnot to get inspiration and ideas, and I ran across this old German fighter called the Horten 229, and it never saw production, never really saw action. There was only 2 prototypes ever made, but it's really fascinating in its design. It had jet engines, which was a new technology back then. It was made out of a single wing design, and back then Germany was running out of resources, so the plane was primarily made out of wood. And when the Allies came over and they found it, it was just sitting abandoned inside of some farm somewhere. And of course they cut it up into pieces and sent it over to the US, and it was never heard from again. And only about 40 years later, we have something like the B-2 come out. Coincidence? Maybe. But the actual radar signature of the plane was stealthy in those days. Like they were actually building it to be somewhat of a stealth fighter, which is kind of cool. Anyway, yeah, that's enough of that history lesson. Alright, go ahead and undock that last docking clamp. You can see there I kind of hit it kind of hard. That way it could lock onto the docking clamps on the bottom there. Now you could go slow if you wanted to, but all you're going to do is waste fuel. As you can see, it's got a nice little ramp going on there for wheeled vehicles to come in and out. And once I lower the landing gears in the back, you'll see the full effect on how it fits snugly to the ground. And also the cargo bay door, yeah, it looks a little ugly right now. It's got wires and rocket engines sticking out. But eventually I'll go back and try to clean all that up. It's just in its prototype phase right now. But yeah, there it is. Imagine it unloading stuff on Duna, or the moon, or Eve. That'd be pretty cool. Engines on the sides, yeah. So once you're done unloading whatever you want, tanks, supplies, rovers, lift the gears back up. And in this case, only one of the docking clamps locked on, so I only got to do that one right there. And it should spring right back up and lock into place. Perfect. Yep, there's the X3, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this will be the one that goes into space. Hopefully. Well, keep on shooting for the stars and you're bound to hit one of them. As I said before, if you see anything in these videos that you like, let me know and I'll see if I can't get a download link for you. In my next video, I think I might do something like a blast from the past, use an old Ssto to get something into space, or maybe finally get that fighter up into orbit and see if I can't destroy that target that's up there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later. This is Veos, signing off.